Hey, Rooted in Ag fans, this is one of your hosts, Madison, and this is being recorded after the interview with Alex was already done because I unfortunately had a scheduling conflict. So I'm just recording something a little bit later. I'm here to tell you all that I have listened to this episode. You guys are in for a real treat, and I am super excited for you all to listen. So I hope that you enjoy, and I will hand it over to Matthew to lead Alex Miller in the next episode of our podcast.
Well, you came down from your big old city and don't rock the fun. One little bitty ain't got violins, but we can solve feeling if you don't rock it. Let me tell you a little thing about that.
All right, y'all. I'm here with Alex Miller on our 5th episode of the Rooted in Ag podcast. Alex, how are you doing, man?
Man, if I was doing any better, there'd be two of me. I'm doing really good.
I'm glad to hear it. Thank you so much for getting on. I feel kind of starstruck right now getting you on. I feel honored.
Oh, well, shoot. Any day I can talk about agriculture or ag or what it means to me is a good day. So the pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. I mean, I was talking to your cousin, Cyrus Spivens. You know, that's how we got connected. And Cyrus is like, you need to get him on sometime. And the other day we had someone cancel on us that we were recording with this week. And Getting Lucky in Kentucky came on my playlist. I have like 200 songs in my playlist. So of all songs to come on right after we had a cancellation, that came on. I was like, I think it's time for me to reach out. So we'll see what we can work out. And sure enough, a few days later, here you are.
Yeah. That's just how the music business and the news business works. There ain't no difference.
Yes, sir. So everybody obviously knows you for your music, American Idol, stuff like that. But maybe a part they don't know about you is you're still, not to be cheesy and use the name of the podcast, you're still rooted in ag, and you've always been rooted in agriculture and FFA. So tell us your story, your journey and upbringing through agriculture.
Absolutely. My granddad is a lot to do, and my aunt are also a lot to do with my agricultural experience. My granddad was a burley tobacco grower back in the day, and he also raised beef cows as well. He had Angus and Charolais. We just had anything that walked is basically what Granddad had. And he just loved country music, which is why I'm doing that. But he also loved the farm. And he was actually, for Garrett County, we had a bunch of schools merged. He was the first president of the FFA chapter that we had here in Garrett County, Kentucky, which is pretty cool. And so coming from that kind of background, you know, I saw how much he talked about the FFA, what the FFA meant to him, and I also saw it through my aunt, like I was saying, Misty. She was a state officer for Kentucky and did all that kind of stuff. And I saw how well she has done with her life and herself. And I thought, well, I'd like to see that same success for myself. And so I joined the FFA freshman year, and it really did make a difference. I wasn't ever a shy kid, but FFA definitely brought me out of my shell and made me talk in front of people whenever I probably wouldn't have otherwise. And I owe a lot to that organization for where I'm at today.
That's awesome. So you did the national choir, right? Or was it a talent show?
It was the talent program. Yeah.
Talent show. Okay, sorry.
I'll tell you something funny. In the Kentucky, as far as like Kentucky talent, I never won our state's talent competition. I came in second 2 years in a row, and I can't remember. I think I got this is a good life lesson right here. I came in second 2 times, and by coming in second 2 times, I made more than on the scholarship side of things. I made more than if I'd come in first once. So coming in twice sometimes does better for you. So I made it. If I'd won, I wouldn't have been able to do any more of the competitions or anything. So I appreciate them letting me lose there a couple times in a row.
That's funny. Oh yeah. So aside from the talent, did you do any other competitions, any speeches or anything like that?
Yeah, I did. I did dairy judging. Now I wasn't very good. I'm not gonna lie. I was not very good on the judging side of things. And I also did parliamentary procedure whenever I was in high school. And I know there's probably some Parley kids out there listening, and that's just too much for me to remember. It got to the point where I was like, but it was a lot of fun. I do remember Parley. I see how other, like, I watch government functions now, on the news, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, Parley come in a lot of handy for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Preaching to the choir here. I'm a Parley kid. I've
Hear
been.
me.
Oh, you're fine. I've been my senior team's chair, and I was our junior chair for the past 3 years now. I'm a senior now. Yeah, Parley's pretty cool. Like, you go to church and you see the elders talking and stuff, and they use Parley, and then
Yeah.
talking about it on TV and stuff. Were you chair or were you a member?
I was just a member. No, I never got
Yeah.
to be I never had a big position. Like,
Yeah. That's awesome, man. You said you've carried some of these things that you've learned through FFA into your life. How would you say you've applied some of those like networking skills or anything like that into maybe your music career?
Absolutely. The music business is very similar to farming. A lot of people, and it's very simple, similar to sports as well. Farming, there's never 2 days that are the same. That's the one thing I learned day one on the farm. And in the music business, it's the same way. Today I'm doing an interview. Tomorrow I'm flying to Texas. So,
Wow.
I never have the same 2 days. And that's very similar. I know a lot of farmers will say the same thing. I've heard that all my life. And FFA, teaches that as well. You always have to be able to adapt yourself. And in the music business, you have a flat tire on a bus, or you have a flat tire on your trailer or something. Well, that's going to put you 20 minutes behind, which makes you 20 minutes late for the rest of your day. And, I know whenever I was working on the farm with my granddad, if something went wrong with the tractor, it's the same kind of stuff. But FFA teaches you how to adapt whenever things go wrong. It teaches you how to apply yourself in ways that I didn't know before. And that's the main thing that I learned was how to apply myself. You can learn everything in the books, but if you don't know how to use it, don't do you no good.
That's a good quote right there. We need to put that on a T-shirt.
And if you do, you let me know and we'll sell them for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Business deals, I like it.
Yes. See, that FFA's coming out in me right there.
Oh yes, sir. You should have done the ag sales, I guess.
Yeah, I would have been all right. If I didn't, I didn't go to college, and if I had went to college, that's what I'd have got. I would have got a agricultural business degree. That would have been that's what my dad got, and he went into banking and did a bunch of other things, and that's probably what the route I would have took as well. But thank God I had a voice. I couldn't imagine sitting at the desk today.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say music and singing and everything and writing your songs and stuff is your passion.
Oh yeah. Playing shows is definitely, I just did Kentucky State Fair here last week, and being able to perform is probably my number one. But writing songs and being creative with things is probably my number two. Like making videos is another one that I enjoy doing too. Doing TikToks and all that funny, stupid stuff. That's fun.
I love the Texas Roadhouse. It's Miller Time.
Walking in
that's
there.
a fan
That was
favorite.
fun. We filmed that in Richmond, Kentucky. So big shout out to everybody from Richmond. But that was fun, and because we were their artist of the month there for a while there at Texas Roadhouse. So that song was in their jukeboxes. So that stuff has always come natural to me. It's the business side of things that has always been kind of tough, and that's where FFA kind of solidified things. Having the SAE project and doing that kind of thing will make you be business minded and business oriented.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you talked about how your music was played at Texas Roadhouse. That's really cool. I'm sure that was a great moment. Is there anywhere else maybe that you've had your music played or you've got to play that was kind of a full circle moment or just like a goal hit? Like I know probably the Opry is going to be one of those answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other stuff. Yeah.
The Opry, and I also got to do something at the Ryman Auditorium, which is where the Grand
Ole
Opry
Ryman
started.
too? I didn't know you did that. That's awesome.
I got to play there with Rhonda Vincent. She's in the bluegrass field, and she invited me right after I was on American Idol. Being able to play my songs for people. I tell you where I get the craziest things is like on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram. I'll have people comment that they're listening to my music in like South Africa and over in Japan. I get some Japan comments every now and then, and the fact that my music is reaching that far is just absolutely crazy to me.
That's amazing.
It's people that don't even probably couldn't even understand my accent, let alone what I'm saying. Hearing my music and hearing me sing is just unbelievable to me.
Yeah. So going back to like where you started again, let's go to the music side of it for a second. When did you realize, hey, I can kind of sing a little bit? Was that at church or where that
It
start for
was.
you? It was.
I went to a little bitty country church, and
Yeah, me too.
there was always singing going on, and people bringing in their guitars and playing, and it started for me there. My first song was old Josh Turner song called "The Long Black Train." I'm sure you've heard that song before.
Oh yeah.
And so I'll tell you, you talk about some 360 moments. So Kentucky State Fair is a big part of my life. Whenever I was 6 or 7 years old, I used to play Cloverville. They used to have a talent show over at Cloverville, and I played that 4-H stage over there when I was a little kid. And my first time I played Kentucky State Fair, I think the first year there at Cloverville, I sang "Long Black Train," and then my first year at the Kentucky State Fair, opening for somebody, I got to open for Josh Turner, who sang "Long Black Train." Which you talk about a crazy moment. That was crazy for me.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a full circle moment, and it's
yeah.
We were up at the Kentucky State Fair. Me and my family went up Tuesday. I don't know if you ever heard of the band Kane. They're like a Christian. My brothers love them, so we went up there and listened to them. My brothers were obsessed.
They always have great acts there at the fair.
Yes.
I'm always impressed with the people that they bring in. I was with Justin Moore this past week, but I know there was some older country acts that I thought were really cool, and they were having
I'm trying to think,
guys like me out there too.
Yeah, the pros.
Yeah.
So where's some of the places your music has taken you? Like you said, you went to Texas. You're going to Texas. I'm sure you've been all over by now. Being on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
And places it's taken me.
Yeah.
We've gone from. I swear we've gone from coast to coast and border to border playing, which is crazy. I mean, I played in Florida. I played as far north as Delaware. One of these days I want to get to Maine. But Delaware is as close as I've got so far, and New York. I've been there as well. But I've played in California. Whenever I did American Idol, that was in San Diego and Los Angeles, and then I've also went to Washington State, which is way on up there too. And you know what's funny? You're talking about FFA. It's ag. Everywhere I go, I always look and see what they grow, because people that come to my shows, they're country people. They're farmers and stuff, just like me.
They like good music.
Oh yeah, and they always ask them. I'm like, what do y'all grow around here? Iowa, it's all corn and soybeans.
Yeah.
In Washington State, I was surprised. There was a lot of like people that just grew hay, and they had these big old bales of hay. Not like squares, but it was just like huge squares.
Cubes,
cubes. Yeah, like industrial hay, I would call it. But they take them and put them in these shipping containers, and it was crazy looking.
Yeah,
but that's always interesting for me to see. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to the agricultural side of it for a second, obviously country music is heavily associated with agriculture.
Oh yeah.
Would you say, like, being a part of the ag community already, you were able to, I don't know the words I'm trying to say here, but already be kind of having that in with the community, because you didn't have to have so much of an outreach. Like if you're like trying to become a rock and roll artist, they don't have that community necessarily that they already have an in with, like through 4-H and then FFA and stuff like that. So would you say you sort of had an advantage going in?
I would say so. Well, I've lived it. When I sing a song, I've got a song called "Putting Up Hay" that I
listened to it on the way way home today.
Well, see, like I've lived that song. I've lived putting up hay, and as a musician, a singer, you have to know and believe in what you do. And I feel that I can sing stuff like that because I've been out in that hot hay field working all day long, and I think I can sell that, and it's just who I am. I don't have to try to sell it. It's just who I am, and being in the ag, being involved with cows and calves, and being involved with hay, it also instills that hard work into you too.
Work ethic.
But I definitely say, singing and playing and doing country music definitely has a lot of ends in the ag community, because a lot of people in agriculture like music, because you're in that tractor, you're out driving in your truck. What are you listening to? You're listening to music, and
exactly.
it does have lets you have a little bit of in with farmers, especially.
Yeah, and you said earlier you played at Cloverville.
Hmm.
So you were a 4-H member then too? I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I started. I think I started at Cloverville whenever I was 7 years old, and I played it all through until high school, until I did American Idol, and when I did that, of course, I kind of had to go out and couldn't play Cloverville probably much anymore. You know, that was what I did.
Might be a
So,
little crowded if they hear you're coming to town, right?
well, it might have changed things a little bit. Yeah, might not have been the fairest thing ever.
Think about American Idol. Tell us the story, like how you
Mhm.
heard about it, how you applied. Give us the journey in case anybody hasn't seen the episodes.
Well, sure. I'll give credit where credit's due. My mom's the one that signed me up for the show. She just thought that I'd be a good fit, and I was 17 when I auditioned and got a spot on the show. I didn't exactly know where life was going to take me, if I was going to go to school or if I was going to pursue music. So I talked to my mom about that, and she said, "Well, I saw this thing on Facebook about these open call auditions. I'm going to sign you up for them." And I said, "All right." So she did, and the rest everybody got to kind of see on television. I went from judge to judge, and they just seemed to like what I was doing and sent me on to the big judges out there in California.
That's awesome.
Hold on a
What's
second here. My phone's
Oh,
about to die on you, and so I don't want it to.
oh, no problem, no problem.
Gotta plug this thing up, or it's gonna die if I ain't careful. Let's see.
I was looking. Sorry, I'm not on the thing right now. I was looking at your upcoming stuff.
Yeah.
Just, see where you're going to be at. You're going to be up in Pennsylvania with Ian. I never know how to say his last name, but I know his
Ian
songs.
Munsick.
Munsick. Okay, I never knew how to say his names, but I know his songs. I promise.
Yeah.
Um,
That's this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that show. Ian is. They reached out to me about me playing with him, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds good to be." He's from out west somewhere. I can't exactly remember
Yeah.
what part of the country he's from, but I know he's from out west, and I've been listening to a lot of his music, just trying to get ready for that show with him. And as an FFA member, you always got to be prepared, and that's the one thing about the music business too. Preparation is everything. So whenever I'm going out there to play with him, I always want to, whoever I'm opening for, I always try to go listen to some of their music and get acquainted with them, because the best way to get to know somebody is to listen to their songs. Seriously.
Oh, definitely.
And
I mean, I felt like I did that with you. Like, I was well acquainted with your music, of
Right.
course, but I doubled down, and I've been listening to a whole lot since I knew that I had a chance to record with you, so I was pretty excited. You're talking about opening and how you're excited to do that with Ian, but dream opening? Like, if you could open for anybody currently, if they called you up right now, like, it would just be an instant, yes, I'm there.
Chris Stapleton would probably be an instant yes for me. I
Another
love his
Kentucky
music.
guy.
I love his style, and I think he's a Kentucky guy too. So
Yeah. What's your
that
favorite
always
song
that's
of his?
just checks all the boxes for me.
Yeah, what's your favorite song of Chris Stapleton's?
I like Starting Over. That's my favorite Chris Stapleton song. Yeah.
Yeah. Scarecrow in the Garden?
Oh yeah.
I like that one. I don't know, man. I like history, and so that's kind of historic, I guess.
Yeah. That
don't
first
know.
record he did, the Traveler record's a good one too. I like that
Yes.
whole record. Just you can put that on
Yes.
repeat for me.
My this is we're going on a tangent for a second, not really about agriculture, but it's fine. My alarm for the longest time when I would go to get up to feed before school, I still do that and stuff, but it was Traveler by Chris Stapleton, so I'd wake up to that song. So now when it comes on my playlist or I hear it on the radio, I get like PTSD and I can't listen to
Well,
it.
it's time to go feed the cows. Yeah.
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 I get tired.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Oh no, but you've given a lot of advice through this episode so far. Little bits and pieces. But what do you think's been the biggest piece to your success up to this point in your life? And that can be
This was
musically,
some-
personally, spiritually, whatever.
Yeah, I would say the biggest piece of advice that I was ever given, and was from Hank Williams Jr. I met him whenever I was like 18 years old, and
Wow.
I was opening for him in Wisconsin, and he said, "Never take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from." I was like, "Wow, what a piece of advice that was!" And so I've hung on to that for everything, because what makes a person do well in the music business is their uniqueness, I think,
Hmm.
and it's their just being themselves, and that's what I've always tried to be. And that advice has definitely been really good for me in my career. So I'll give that to you as well, Matt, and to
Yeah,
all
I
your
like
listeners
that.
out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, moving on for a second, going back to that. I'm trying to keep it agricultural related because it's technically an ag podcast, but I couldn't pass up the chance of getting
Yeah,
you
yeah,
on. I
yeah.
feel like, um, okay, just this is questions now, not deep stuff. What was your favorite job on the farm and least favorite job on the farm?
My favorite job probably was we used to. My favorite job was probably like anything to do with hay. I really enjoyed doing that. A lot of people
Really?
like, oh, I always liked it because you was getting out and it wasn't too bad. Raking hay. I always enjoyed raking
Hmm.
hay, and I actually enjoyed cutting hay more because what really usually wasn't as hot, and you could have a lot. You could just put your
Yeah.
music in and listen to
Yep.
music and stuff. My least favorite was feeding in the winter because we
Wow.
didn't. My granddad had these old 255 Massey Fergusons, no cab, no air conditioning, no heat. Your heat was what you had on,
Yep.
and that sucked. I ain't gonna lie, going out there trying to
Hmm.
feed them cows in the middle of winter. That was probably my least
Wow.
favorite, but you see the benefit behind that stuff too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It builds character, I guess. That's what my grandpa says, at least.
It builds something. I don't know what it is, but it builds something. That's for sure.
But I unfortunately have to disagree with you. I'm the opposite way. I'm more of an animal guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a ton of hay. We not a ton, but we bale about 3,000 bales a year, sell those and stuff.
Is that squares or is that round?
Squares, not
Okay.
round bales. We do some rolls. We roll just enough for us, to get us through the winter and stuff.
Yeah.
But the bales, man, and I call out about 5 or 6 buddies when it's time to go unload them at customers and stuff. I con them into it. They work for a couple hours, make a few bucks, I guess. But I don't see a dime of that because when you're the grandson,
Yeah.
you get the life lessons, I guess, as your payment
Oh yeah.
on the farm.
I'll tell you a funny story. My granddad hired some boys one time to come help him in the hay, and they've never done it before. And he told them, he said, you need to wear something comfortable, but don't wear like shorts or nothing. Well, sure enough, somebody showed up in shorts, and that was their first and their last day to ever fool in square bales hay.
Mm-mm. When I'm putting up hay or I'm putting up hay,
Yeah.
yeah, or when we're unloading or whatever, I'm in boots and jeans. But unpopular opinion for myself, when I'm on the tractor, baling or raking or tethering or cutting, I'm in Crocs and shorts.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, but if you
Yeah.
got to handle that stuff, I mean, it's just
No. Yeah, at that point,
Yeah.
my. I'll tell you a funny story now. I had one of my friends, he texted me, he said, should I wear gloves when I go to put it up? And I said, depends. Like, are your hands like acclimated to that stuff? And he thought I was joking because I was like, depends. Do you have sissy boy hands? I was just messing with him,
Yeah.
He's like, ha ha, LOL. And then he showed up that morning. We unloaded 6 or 7 wagons, nothing too crazy, but hour and a half work
Yeah.
with all of us. He showed me his hands; they were torn up. He's like, I thought you were kidding. I was like, no, I
No.
wasn't.
No.
And just things you get accustomed to, living on the farm, getting up early, being able to talk to people. I feel like farm kids are always able to, communicate better. I feel like.
Well, we were never like sitting behind a computer screen all of our lives. We
Yeah.
were out there doing stuff and,
Yes.
and meeting people, and we know there's more out there than some other people do. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I see people all the time that just eat up with their phone, and it drives me crazy. In fact, like if I go out with somebody, that's one of my pet peeves. Like,
Yeah.
this needs to be one for you too, man. If you ever go on a
Okay.
date with a girl and they're always on their phone, she ain't the one, because
She ain't the one.
if she can't give you an hour and a half or 2 hours of her time, then she ain't gonna give you much the rest of your life either. So,
Yes, sir.
just some life lesson advice for you there.
Yes, sir. Well, that makes me feel a little bit guilty because yesterday, me and my buddies were doing a fantasy football league. We went out to Mexican to draft, and I felt weird because we were all looking at our phone while drafting in the restaurant. It felt weird for me to be looking at my phone that long, surrounded by all my
If
friends.
you're
in
amongst your
public.
buddies, there ain't nothing
Oh,
wrong
yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But if you're going out with somebody or something,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're on their phone all the time, that just ain't
Yeah,
called for.
I agree. it just felt weird, you know, because I never growing up, you know, iPad in the restroom, this stays in the car, you know,
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Gotcha, Hoss. Yeah. That was the same way for me too. It was always talking, you know, that's how
yeah.
you entertain yourself. It wasn't ever,
Hmm.
didn't really have, I had a phone. I think I got a phone whenever I was in the 8th grade, something like
Yeah.
that. That was
Sixth or
just for
seventh, I can't
emergencies.
remember. Yeah. Um, did you grow up with brothers or sisters? I'm
Yeah,
not.
I have a little brother. He's 16. He's in the FFA too, and
Oh,
he's the
which high
Gary
school does
County
he go
champ.
to? Oh,
He
Garrett.
goes
Okay.
to Gary County, yeah,
Yeah,
and he either really likes the FFA.
that's good.
I can't remember some of the competitions he was in,
Mm.
but he went to
Did he,
camp. He loved going to
yeah.
FFA camp. That was a big part of my life as well. I loved FFA camp. That did wonders for my childhood.
I mean, FFA camp. I went my third and final year this year. I was supposed to go 5 years because we have a middle school chapter, but COVID knocked
Oh,
that out for us.
yeah.
And so, but you know, FFA camp. There's something special about it. You know, it's hard to explain
Well,
if you've never experienced it.
it's kind of like for me, it reminds me a lot of like going to a show.
Hmm.
Because at a show for me, it's just I'm among my peers. And FFA camp, I always felt like I was among people that did the same thing that I did,
Yeah,
and that's what I liked about FFA camp. There was just good camaraderie between everybody there. There was nobody that was,
yeah,
I thought was uh, trying to put pressure on you to do stuff. It just was good people,
I agree.
and
Yes,
that was always because for someone to go to a camp in the first place, they got to be an outgoing person.
yeah. They don't just let anybody go.
No, no, and you got to want to do that, and it takes a certain amount of initiative. The people that go to FFA camp are the people that will go on to have really successful careers because they
Hmm.
take initiative on things and they want to go do things and go experience things. I think people that are always really hesitant about going to do stuff, you can't be so timid in life. You got to just go out there and do it and get it done, and
Yeah,
that's what I've done in mine. So, just my experience.
it's worked out pretty well for you. I feel like
It's
so
worked
far.
out pretty well for me. Yeah, I can't complain.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Um,
not to say I haven't had people pushing me along the way, but
oh yes,
uh,
that support system is vital. I mean, just to where I've gotten in my life, I know I've had a really strong support system, and you've
mhm,
touched on it a little bit, like how your mom signed you up for American Idol
yeah,
and everything like that. But surrounding yourselves with the right people. That's what my ag teacher always tells me. He says, like when I went to Eiffel at UK, he told me, he
mhm,
said, that's a really good opportunity because it's FFA camp, like dosed down even more. It's a concentrated group. And I love all my Eiffel people. Hopefully a few of them might be listening. So shout out if you went to Eiffel with
yeah,
me, I guess. My co-host, she went to Eiffel with me. Madison did.
mhm.
And it's just surround yourself with good people. And I'm sure you've done that yourself too, right?
Absolutely. The best baseball player in the league can't win a game all by himself. I mean, he can't play all the
Exactly.
bases.
Ask my poor Yankees.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a Reds fan, so don't hold that against me. But
I
uh,
won't.
but what little I can be anymore, man, they haven't been doing too good this year. But anyways, like I said, a baseball player, just one, can't win against 9 other people.
Hmm.
So having a good team on your side, whether you're farming or if you're doing anything in life, I have a good manager, I have a good publicist, I have good booking agents, and it all goes together to make one cohesive unit.
Yeah.
And that's what FFA is. That's what the officer teams are. It's all about
Yes.
making that cohesive unit that will drive the chapter. And there's not much difference, like in a band, especially too. You have
Hmm.
to have a drummer, you have to have a bass player, you have to have a guitar player, and you got to have somebody that plays piano. That's my
Yeah.
band. So being able to work around everybody else's needs is a big thing as well. FFA teaches that because there's always something going on in my band. Everybody lives their life. So
Yeah.
it ain't no different. There ain't no difference between
Yeah.
like an officer team and a band or anything. But like I said, you can't play baseball just by yourself. You got to have a team, and FFA is definitely a good team that I had, and a good teacher for that as well.
Yes, sir. I like that analogy. I like that analogy a lot. I liked it so much it made me forget my thought. Oh, no. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna try to make a comparison. You could tell me that I'm wrong. A little analogy of myself. So you have your band, right?
Mhm.
Like let's say those are your officers and or your officers in FFA or 4-H or whatever club. Then you
Mhm.
have like your committee chairman that really do, or at least for my chapter, they do a lot of the dirty work. They do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Who would those people be for you in your music industry that get you like your roadies or like whatever they
Yeah,
need?
sure. So I would say like your manager would do that because
Hmm.
he's always the one like booking hotels or booking
Yeah,
flights, that kind of stuff. A tour manager would be that role.
yeah,
A publicist, she's the one going out and getting TV interviews, radio interviews, getting me signed up for podcasts, going on doing this kind of stuff. That's what she kind of
Oh,
does.
maybe I should have talked to your publicist then. I just went straight to the
Well,
man.
you're a family friend, buddy. You got to pass today. Hey, you
Okay,
caught me
sweet.
good, but you know what I'm saying. That
Yes,
that
sir.
that that stuff just keeps everything moving smoothly. You
Hmm.
also have people like your booking agent who's getting you dates. You also have people that are working your singles on radio, your music out there that are pushing
Yeah.
your singles to Spotify and things. There's a lot that goes on, and
Oh,
it's run. Those would be my committee chairs, but your band is your core unit because those guys are the guys that are traveling with you all the time,
mhm.
the ones that you have to depend on, and your band is much. I mean, your FFA teams are just like a band; they really are.
Yeah. So going into leadership just for a second, we're almost done. Don't worry.
Oh, you're fine.
I
You
won't
take
keep
all
you
the
too
time you
long.
need.
Going to leadership, would you say that like since your name is the name that people are coming to see, you have that extra pressure to lead the band, or like are you more of a passive leader and like you all collectively work together? Like, what's your style of leadership in that dynamic of a band?
Sometimes you have to be both.
Yeah,
Sometimes you have to be, well, boys, this is just how this is going to have to be. But
yeah,
other times, especially in the creative process of things, I'll ask them, like, if we're trying to get a set list together, I'll order a show. I'll ask my drummer's opinion or my keyboard player, any of the guys' opinion on how it is the order my songs should go. So that's very cohesive.
yeah,
I think order of operations definitely, for me, works better if you're working with a
yeah,
cohesive group. Um, because one thing I've learned from the music business is there's nothing ever set in stone. There's always going to be something that's going to go foobar or mess up.
yeah,
So, plan for that. Plan for there to be hiccups and mishaps and mix ups. But as long as what your core goal is there, it all kind of, it's like a big triangle, it all kind of funnels
yeah. I
down to
got
the one
you.
thing, and that's the show. And so as long as the show is what you want it to be, then everything else then everything else will follow. Then everything else will follow. So you won't have to. I'm just look at here. I'm going side by side.
Oh,
But
it's all right. For
but as long
everybody
as your
listening
show,
who
yeah, as long as your show is your main focus, then everything will work out in the end.
I like it. For everybody listening, he was giving a really good demonstration with his hands on a triangle, so his phone got knocked down, I think.
Well, it was so powerful, I knocked my phone over.
Oh yeah. So, a couple more speed questions because
Sure.
I had these on my mind coming home from school today. What's your favorite song to sing live and your least favorite song to sing live?
Least
Or are they
favorite
all
is
your
Wagon is
equal?
yeah. Least favorite is Wagon Wheel, but
Mhm.
everybody likes that song, and so we just do it, because people like
Bear
singing along,
through.
and you don't
Yeah,
play shows for yourself. You play them for
yeah,
the people out there listening. So you have to
yeah.
keep that in mind. Um, and probably my favorite song to play
Hmm.
is man, it's probably one of mine. I like playing the song about my grandpa because my
Yeah.
grandpa was a big part of my life, and we do that in my show. And I let my band kind of step back, and I just go out there and take the mic and do it by myself.
Oh, I like that.
It's a really special part of our show. That's my favorite, but yeah, Wagon
Yeah.
Wheel unfortunately is my least favorite. Great song, but after you play it 200 or 300 times, it kind of just starts to weigh on your heart a little bit.
Yeah. I bet that's a cool moment when you have family there, stuff too,
Oh
and
yeah,
singing about your grandpa. Cyrus was talking about how he was at one of your shows when he gave you my business card.
yeah.
And so I'm sure your family supports you anytime they can. They love to come and see you. The way
Oh
Cyrus
yeah.
talks, they do.
Yeah, I'm close with like Cyrus and my brother and my immediate family, but yeah, I'm really close with my family. At the end of the day, to me, your family is your people, and if you,
Yeah.
and I feel like I can depend on my family a whole lot. I know there's a lot of people out there that unfortunately can't, but
Hmm.
I've had a really good relationship. My people and my family are really, really good, and I wouldn't trade them for nothing.
I bet they're glad to hear that then. Um, what's the writing process look like? Because you write
Oh yeah,
most or all. I'm not.
yeah.
Some.
It's a
Yeah.
good. I don't know, 40 split or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I do write a lot of my material, but I'm not afraid to cut other people's good ideas.
Oh
Is
yeah.
the way I look at
For
that. So,
sure.
but my writing process is fairly simple. I come up with a title first. So like,
Oh.
putting up hay, I come up with the title first.
Yeah.
So, and then I write my songs around the idea of the title. And usually it centers your idea and your focus. And so in a song, if you take one of your favorite songs and
Yeah.
you read the lines and then you say the title afterwards and it makes sense, then that's when you got a really good song.
Yeah. I mean, this just popped in my head. That's kind of like goal setting almost. You
Mhm.
have that goal and then how you're going to get there and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that's really cool because your goal is to get the song, and that's how you do it. My ag teacher, he's a songwriter, I guess, or he still is technically. And he was talking about how he just locked himself in his basement until he figured something out.
Yeah.
So I didn't
And
know
that
how.
works too.
Yeah.
Everybody's process is a little bit different. It's just
Mhm.
like with anything. But that's the process that works the best for me because it keeps me focused on what I have to try to get done. As far as and where my like I said, like the triangle, where my goal is, where I'm trying to work towards.
I love it. Don't want to keep you too long, so I just have one more question for you. Well, I guess it could be a two answer question. So at the beginning of the podcast, our opening intro song is Cody Johnson, "Welcome to the Show." What song of yours should I replace for this episode?
I'd say Putting Up Hay would be about perfect for you.
That's what I was thinking. And then our outro is Revival by Zach Bryan. What song do you think we should replace with that one? I need to hear from the man himself.
Oh, let's see. So it's kind of a if you're going in with hay, come out with like well, if you want to have kind of a funny twist, I have a song called "I'm Done, I'm Through."
Okay. I'll find it.
That might be a funny way to spin that.
Let me
Or you
write
could
that
play "I'm Overused to Get Over Me." That's a song that a lot of people like of mine as well.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I listened to it on the way to school this morning. Like I said, my Alex Miller music doubled this week. I feel like tripled, maybe even. But no. Do you ever see yourself playing at National Convention one day? They just announced earlier Megan
I
Maroney's
saw
there.
Megan Maroney. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like to make that show.
Yeah, we're
I
hoping
actually
we
got
can
to
go
play
to.
National Convention. It was about 3 or 4 years ago, and I did
Yeah.
this really cool moment where I got my old jacket and I put it back on.
Oh,
Yeah.
the crowd probably went
Everybody was out there
crazy.
Yeah, the kids went nuts. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But I
Were you
opened for
opening?
Yeah,
Were you
open for Brett Young there.
Brett Young? Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot who's opening for Megan Maroney. I forgot.
Is
his
it
name.
Corey something?
Is it
No, ain't
Smith?
Corey Kent.
Smith?
It's
Trying to think. One second, I'll pull out the phone. I don't care.
sure. He's kind of got a beard, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does. Because I remember the picture. Because it was like Megan Maroney's right here, and then in the corner you have the guy
Yeah,
opening.
that's your opener spot, man. You can't help it.
Oh yeah. Nate Smith.
Nate Smith. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I've seen him
familiar with
play
his
somewhere or
music.
another.
I wasn't familiar with his music, but I started listening to it a little bit. Who's your favorite people to listen to? I know Chris Stapleton probably is, but put some of our listeners on real quick to some good music.
I listen to classic stuff, so
Yeah.
if you ain't drawing Social Security, I listen to a lot of Merle Haggard.
Okay.
Merle Haggard's my guy.
Mhm.
If you like, kind of a modern country split between old and new, check out a guy named Charlie Crockett.
Okay.
He records a
never heard
lot
of him.
of like cover stuff. He's a Texas guy. He's one of my favorites to listen to. He's got a really unique, different voice. He's been in a few movies doing some soundtrack stuff. So,
Okay.
really
That's
cool. I like Zach Bryan just like everybody else,
Oh yeah, of course.
My
you like-
roots are pretty traditional.
Yeah. Do you like Charles Wesley Godwin any?
I do, yeah.
I'm a big Charles Wesley Godwin fan too.
Yeah, he's got some really good stuff.
Oh yeah, I get made fun of by some of my friends sometimes for listening to Zach Bryan. I'm like, guys, come on, you got to admit he's a little bit good.
I mean, the first 3 or 4 times you listen through to him, it's great, and then it's just like anything else. The more you listen to it, the more tired you get of it. But I really love his music. Sure. I don't know if you could get tired of his stuff, but I understand. No. After it's kind of like Wagon Wheel. After you hear it so many times, like, well.
Oh no. Okay. Now we'll cut back to the actual podcast.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else. Usually this is where Madison would come in and save me. So missing her this episode.
That's all right.
Any comments you want to say? Anything you want to make big takeaways you want our listeners to have?
Well, sure. Matt, I just want to leave you with the fact that I appreciate you having me on your program. And please send me this podcast whenever you get her done.
Sir, I'll send you. I'll text you the Instagrams and everything like that.
But I want to say, like I said, I want to say thank you, and I want to say thank you to all the FFA kids. I know a lot of them listen to your stuff, and I want to say, the only thing that can hold you back in life is yourself. So just go out there, and the biggest advice I was ever given, I told you that. Some other good advice I was given is there's only one you out there. And I was told whenever I was really young, I tried to sing like other singers and do other things. And my granddad told me, he said, there's already been a Hank Williams, there's already been a Merle Haggard, a Chris Stapleton, a George Jones. He said, go out there and make an Alex Miller in the world. And that's what I recommend to y'all. Go out there and make yourselves out in the world.
I love it. I love it a lot. Well, thank you for getting on. I was really excited. This is probably one of the most excited recordings I've had, just because everybody else I've recorded with so far I've known and I've talked to. We've never met before in person.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not our first ever real interaction besides over text.
Yeah.
And so thank you for taking time out of your day to help hopefully inspire some of our listeners. Future of agriculture. Maybe you just got yourself a few more fans. Who knows?
That's right. That's right. It's the least I can do, man. I appreciate what you're doing, and I just hope I do inspire some kids out there, because I never thought in a million years I'd be doing what I'm doing right now, and I owe a lot of it to a lot of ag teachers and a lot of kids in the agriculture world. So the least I can do is come on here and do something.
Yes, sir. And for anybody that's not following you, I don't know why they wouldn't be. What's your Instagram handle? Do you know it off the top of your head?
Yes, A Miller Music, and you can look me up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. It's A Miller Music on all of them.
And then it's just Alex Miller on or Apple Music. I know because I use Apple Music. I'm sure it is on Spotify.
Just Alex Miller. I should pop right up.
Oh yeah, he's got some good songs, so make sure to check him out if you haven't.
Well, I'm done, baby, we're through. I've had it up to here with you. I'm done, peace out. Get your water from another spout. Well, I'm through with all your lies, explanations, and